Okay, start of turn 7 on carrier, and this time I'm doing the search track correctly, moving this forward. I can trigger these searches during the actual activation phase, but this is the moment when, hey, I've actually had enough movement to get out of the way. Now, it's actually a lie. I launched it fairly late in the turn, and I'm kind of skipping ahead and getting extra movement this way or something. I don't know how big a deal that is. Oh man, secondary screw up here on the same thing, the effects of U.S. air sources. It's the mission movement die roll that's compared to see if it's blocked. And the mission movement die roll is the die roll which determines your directional sailing as well. That's kind of, I don't know, a little weird, but it prevents something that was getting kind of mechanically cumbersome, rolling the die for each of these. And probably serves just as fine either way. But what is it? Is it equal to and greater than? Has to exceed, so I actually can move this force. And let me see, am I moving in the right direction? No, I want to move that way. Alright, pushing forward into phase 2. I moved up a little bit to do some searches in here. Largely, though, the simple fact that there are no forces available, there are no carrier forces available, there are no surface forces available, means that any sea things that I search for and find, they're just going to disappear anyway. They are bogus. The big reason I was searching was to get the transport one, and that was successful at finding that there wasn't anything there. I've still got another transport kicking down here, which may or may not exist. If it doesn't exist, I can pretty much ignore whatever's going for Guadalcanal. None of that's of any importance, but I would like to find that, and if it moves a little closer, I get a search on it anyhow. If it happens before next turn when this drops down here, which it probably will. I've got a couple of strikes underway. This is just a transfer, but I've got, I launched another airstrike over at these carriers here, who I managed to get an additional detection on. I got additional detections on a number of things. So I feel pretty comfortable with being able to wipe the Japanese out at this point. Although this was definitely a shock, the Ryu not being hit pretty hard. That's worrisome. Well, I opened things up here on phase 2. I think I opened things up. I don't know. I may have done something else. And this carrier group blocked in movement, but hey, it's ready to make a strike. Now this is the weird one that's still at level 1. I started rolling some dice. I had to spend about 10 minutes looking up the commitment rules again. And that's just the fun of this game, you know. Unless you memorize everything, you're regularly going to be paging through. And there's a problem because the charts don't reference back into the rulebook. They don't have a cross-referencing in that system, which would really be helpful because sometimes there are factors about the charts that you would say, I want to know what rule references that because that'll give me a locality to understand where I'm looking. Well, there is no such bonus in this. And the references from the rules to the charts are also more or less along the lines of in the charts or on this screen. Well, the particular screens aren't really identified. You got carrier chart screens 1 and 2, but they name them other things, kind of, I think. And this is the advanced chart. It doesn't have a name on it. It really takes some getting used to playing the game to start to know where to look. Anyway, I don't have to use these. These are the intelligence charts as far as I can see. Of course, maybe I'm completely cheating again. But I use this. I look up, hey, this is an L1 carrier. Has a revealed strength. I rolled up the strength and it ended up hitting where I ended up getting some 4 air points available. There's no reduction. This hadn't taken any losses. So then when I go to turn around at past, it was good there. When I go to somewhere else, these attack tables, well, I flew in and the cap was very effective. It caused 2 casualties. the Japanese were beat up enough. I probably cheated here. Yeah, I cheated. I'm looking at, they have a 3 points left because 2 left plus half of the other 2, 3. Well, 3 is lousy, but no, it's not 3, it's 15. So I'm actually 1 die at +1. I don't remember what I rolled. It was pretty low. I don't know if it was low enough to get me under there and do no damage. I'm going to write it off and say it was, because I think it was. We're talking about 1 die at +1. If it was a 1 or a 2, which I actually suspect it was a 3. Alright, I'm going to play it as that 3. And do a hit on... Who is this? Oh, this is the poor Lexington. What the hell? It's got some stuff on board. Yeah, let's do some damage to the Lexington. We're going to have to look up what that all does, because we haven't had that yet. So, I did 1 point of damage, by my estimation. And I'll mark that here. That's this. That's going to cause, I think, flight deck damage. Anytime you hit medium, I think it's automatic. I don't... Again, you know, I half know that, which means I could look it up and be completely wrong. But this game is fatiguing in terms of how many things you find yourself having to look up there. Alright, I'll be back when I figure out what happens to these planes. Some of them are hit. So yeah, each hit did 2 points to, or 2 steps to these carriers. So they've taken their loss. I lost 2 steps of planes because of that. And now the planes are on their way back here. I marked that down. They're going to land again on turn 8. They've taken a couple of losses, so I'm back down to an attack factor of 2. Of course, that can go up again. If I don't find this thing, it can keep regenerating planes infinitely, which may not be unreasonable. They may be being based off of somewhere else as I get them shot down. Who knows? You could certainly play situations like that where carriers are being, or planes are being added to the carriers. There's plenty of air bases around here to do that kind of transfer from, and possibly ships in the background funneling planes up. So I'm not bugged by that. It just feels a little weird that that won't happen once you identify the ships enough. I don't know. Alright, onward through this round. Well, another frustrating discovery. Confirmation on this thing. It didn't end up launching the attack, and I think I'm, again, doing this in the wrong order. But I'm going to leave it stick because it's just too damn annoying to try to undo it when I realize it. I roll up the confirmation and then I go and check to see if it's got an attack possibility. This time the attack possibility hit airfield, large surface. It's not in range of either of those, and there were no carrier hits. But what I found out was, hey, this thing's only taken 2 hits. It's allowed to take 5. It's not heavily damaged. It's still got an air point left and can launch a strike. I was hoping that thing was actually, if not sunk, at least, which was unlikely, at least heavily damaged. But I'm getting bad rolls on the confirmation here. Alright, on to the U.S. And as I finish up that phase, I see I got a problem. I got an airstrike circling around here to Lexington, and its deck's damaged again. And this thing's almost out. I mean, it's already running up there at 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, I can't make that anywhere. So I gotta land or die is basically what it comes to. And I didn't get a repair roll that was successful at all this turn. So I'm still in trouble there. Alright, well, on for the second half of the turn. Okay, so I'm finishing up phase 3 here. I can actually probably push to phase 4 because I've only got one thing left to do. We had a problem. Yeah, Rabul. Got triggered again this time. Mainly, I'm drawing things that are already destroyed or things that got destroyed this turn, so a lot of forces are just disappearing from the map. You can see less and less Japanese potential forces out there. We know what exists, so we kind of knew that these aren't going to happen, but they're moving into the range of this guy's search or something. The Rabul chit, though, came up, And what that did was made me actually check the rolls. And yeah, that double strike counts as the 2 strikes. Rabul is not able to... I think I actually had a potential strike. I don't know if I rolled it or not. But Rabul is unable to actually check for a strike at this point. They have to wait until that lands, and then the turnaround time, etc., could come into play. Well, no, turnaround time's not really a big deal, but they do have to wait until those 2 strikes land. They can't have more than 2 airstrikes out at the same time, and the double strike counts as 2 strikes. That was the big question there. I've got this guy circling around the Lexington. We'll get to him in a moment. But we had airstrike 6 come in here, and oh boy, did I light up the Zuiho, or no, sorry, the Taio. I don't wonder where the Zuiho is. I know it's kicking around here somewhere, I thought. Oh no, it's the Royo. The Taio here. I got it with 16 hits. Now that thing is dead, and I know it's dead, but because of the confirmation, I can't score it yet. I think... I don't know if this is going to withdraw based on that or just become a surface force. Either way, it's really not too big a deal. I've wiped out the air power of that force very effectively. That was this airstrike 6, a 24-point hit. Boom. That was really heavy. 16 hits is tremendous. Now, that's just because you doubled these. It would normally have been an 8 hit, which would guarantee it sinking. 16 hits pretty much... I don't think there's a chance that can come back. But here's the problem. I was rolling on the repair table for that, and I rolled myself a natural 1. And a natural 1 over here on the medium says, hey, take another point of damage and have a star. Uh-oh. What does a star mean? A star means I take a critical hit. I also get 2 more levels of inoperative hull. But I may be in trouble here. A critical hit means I roll over on this table and see. I get a 9. Okay, no additional effect. Bonus. But it's looking really unlikely that I'm going to be able to land this airstrike on them. Airstrike 1. And it really doesn't have anywhere else I think it can reach. Maybe I can save the fighters. Those torpedo bombers are pretty much doomed. The fighters may be able to make it over onto the Yorktown. I'm not sure. Alright, one more phase to go. And during the Japanese turn, C6 up here, these guys, because the Ryuho survived miraculously, really, they managed to launch a fairly decent-sized strike against me. 4 strength points. One of them... That's not right. Sorry, 4 strength points. One of them got lost due to anti-air fire, but they still managed to hit and get a couple of hits in on the Lexington. The Lexington's beginning to look really bad here. I don't think I can land on her. I'm going to start trying to pull her out of the battle, I think, because just no real chance of being able to be effective in the near future. The real problem here is, again, I'm going to have to cycle all my planes around the Yorktown. If I can get the Yorktown near Port Moresby, I can start offloading some of my planes there. But then there's the problem. Rabul is vulnerable, or is a threat that's present. All right. I guess I go to the U.S. and see what's going on. I've got an airstrike heading for those guys to try to finish the Rio off. And we get some more repairs at Moresby. It's down to a 1. I gotta worry, get things landed, etc. at night. Plus, I've got these searchers coming in. Oh no, they don't come in. Oh, God damn it. They're still out here for the whole turn. I'm screwing them up. Yeah, they've got a long turnaround time. And yeah, I took advantage of it there, but it goes all the way out. Which gives them actually more search capability than I've been allowing. Such as. Anyway, it is the end of the turn, so those do go back to there. But I gotta try to figure out how to get my planes back on the Yorktown. And whether or not I can hold most of them at once. Airstrike's still in process. I've diverted the ones that were landing, pushing them forward. I ought to be considering diverting this force too. Let's create a little, I didn't move this one up either. So that'll go up to 8, and that'll be airstrike 3. Heading out as well. Ruh-roh. Alright, and let me, actually I think it gets the double movement, as though it had dropped its bombs when it's doing a transfer mission. I guess I'll load this one up. Looks like I'm ready.